Hey everybody, Temple Crazed here. How is everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Hey, Parv. So I got this watch cleaned up. Took me took me a we'll just say a while. We'll say it took a while. I mean, I was soaking part of it while I was doing a show um, where I was selling some watches. But if you were here with me, my last video here when I disassembled it, maybe you'll remember that the balance didn't even want to move. Well, I put the balance onto the plate here for safekeeping. Man, I just got the hiccups. Watch this though. Look at that. You sent me an email? Okay. But look at that movement move now. And that's without oiling it even. That's moving really good. So also I had to um I get to use my little tweezers now instead of the bigger ones that I was using earlier today because my demagnetizer came in. Because something you don't want is looks like I have to demagnetize my screwdriver now. Hold on. Something you don't want is magnetization anywhere near your watch. It'll throw the time off. It's a whole thing. So I have a demagnetizer came in, which is nice because these little tweezers that I'm using here were actually magnetized, and it kind of made things a little difficult. Holy crap! What you been up to, Trav? What you been up to? Anything good? T-Master. So there, we'll pull that out. Pull that balance out of there, get it out of the way. Because that's one of those parts that, you don't really want to screw around with too much. Now, I did clean the spring, the barrel and barrel spring out um, off camera. Because last time, so I was trying to put together a video for you guys before of how to work on these watches and stuff, and I was taking the barrel apart, which holds obviously the barrel spring that basically powers the whole watch, and the spring went flying across the room. So I did it off camera this time. So, but there's where that sits, right there. Your mainspring's all wound up inside that thing, and that's what gives the watch its power. Now, this mainspring should have been replaced. It's an old style. There's some ways that we can tell. This one's blue, and so the blued ones are carbon steel, and they haven't been used since mid 40s. So technically this one should have been replaced, but I wanted to put it all back together for you guys and everything, and so I didn't have time for, if I wanted to do it today anyway, I really didn't have time to wait for a new piece to come in. So now we'll get out the barrel bridge and grab the screws out for the barrel bridge. These screws are a little sticky still with oil. I didn't really do a good job of cleaning the screws because honestly they don't do a whole lot but hold things together. So I cleaned all the other parts and everything. Alright, so here's the barrel bridge. We'll get that. Now normally I would put the clutch, sliding clutch wheel, all that stuff in before putting the barrel bridge in. But because we took apart the mechanism on the other side of the watch, I don't actually need to. Let's see, we just gotta figure out where this exactly fits. Looks like right about there. Just kind of push it down in. Oops. So that's the barrel bridge. Now, I thought this was oil. It is not. It is literally wore through right there, which is not great. Basically tells me that this watch was having some issues. So let's start putting in a couple of these screws. This screw hole here would be for a case screw to hold it in a watch case. I don't see them used very often. A lot of times they just have some kind of a metal ring that holds them in. Well, that was good. I know exactly where that went. I just can't get to it right now. These screws are so... Get back here. So small. And I know you can't see anything when my hand's in the way here, but I gotta be able to screw that down. Alright, well, I gotta get the other screw out. I hate this movement holder. Did you fall through? I thought it did. Yep, there it is. They make much better movement holders, but this is all I could afford when I bought this, so this is what I get. Sweet. Sweet! I thought I'd just give you that whole set if you wanted to do the trade. I have that whole set that has the all the 1982s in it that are all in like really nice condition. So anyway, we just want to make sure this is all moving freely, and it is. That's good. Now I'm going to drop just a little bit of oil down right around in this area. And the way we do this oiling, this is kind of a weird thing here. But we use a thing called an oiler. And it's this little thing here, this little thing. This is actually the bigger of the ones. But you get just a drop of oil on it. You see how when I touch that right there, it just kind of drops just a little bit of oil down in? That's all the oil you need. I mean, if you guys saw this thing when I took it apart, or if you watched afterwards, this thing had a lot of oil in it. Now I'm just going to spin this barrel a couple times, make sure that oil gets in there. Spinning really nice. Good. All right. Perfect. All right. Onward. Next, we're going to put in the crown wheel. How'd you get over here? Weird. And when I took this apart, I had mentioned that the crown wheel had a little inside sleeve that was, but it was stuck because of all the oil and stuff. So now that it's apart and everything, and on this part we're going to use a little bit of grease. We're going to use a little bit of grease, not much. I'm going to use a smaller oiler on this part. I'm going to grab just a, well, that's a lot of grease. I just want a little bit of grease, just a little nubbin. Just a little nubbin. It looks like a lot, but it's really not. But I'm just going to drop a couple little drops here. That's too much. Get back here. We don't need that much. Just a little smear. I'm going to throw a little smear over here too, because that's these on top of these plates is where those is where we have gears riding, or wheels as we call them. So I'm going to take the little spacer and set it in first. This little spacer here, we'll set that down on first. I need to sharpen my tweezers again. Yes, that is something we do. We sharpen our tweezers. I know it sounds probably kind of weird, but now, okay. I have my other video pulled up on another tab, just so that I can look over at some of these parts, just to make sure I'm putting them on the right way. So here's the crown wheel, and the reason it's called that is because your winding crown and stem would be right here to interact with this, and then this would spin to turn the ratchet wheel. Alright, so here's the screw for the crown wheel, and now if any of you remember, when we took this off, I had said that this screw was kind of special, and it is. It is a reverse thread. So let me find the right screwdriver. So instead of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, we're going to go lefty-tighty. And that actually tightens that down. There we go. That's the only one like that. And sometimes, if you're lucky, there'll be like some extra lines on the screw head that'll tell you which way this one goes. But this one doesn't have that, so I always try to separate it from the other screw, just so that I can, just so that I know that I got the right one going in the right place. I mean, not like you can't tell when you try to tighten the thing down and it doesn't do anything, but it's still a little bit nice to just have them separated. Alright. Now, hey Otis. Now we're going to put on the ratchet wheel. And the ratchet wheel goes over here. And here's your click right here. This little, come here you. This little thing here, it's spring loaded right there. Here's your spring. So as you're winding the crown on this, you always hear that click, 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 click. Well, that's from that little click, that little ratchet there, or that little click in this ratchet wheel right here. Got a little bit of schmutz on you still. Yeah, we'll get that in a minute. So we want to line up this square hole, make sure that we're all engaged and everything. Perfect. And then we want to grab this screw here, the ratchet wheel screw. And now this one is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So that's why I like to keep them separated, because they look identical, but yet I don't know why. Now, I'm not sure if this watch will run when we're done here because the honestly um hmm, whatever the uh, spring really needs to be replaced. Like I had to bend it to get it to hook on again to the center part, which is called the arbor. So if this watch runs when we're done, we're gonna be quite lucky. I mean, I'm gonna do my best. Well, I can't do any more than I've already done because we're past that part now. But you know, we're gonna hope that it runs. All right. Now next, next we got to put in the what I forget what the actual name is, but this is the hour wheel. I believe that goes in next. Let's see. Yeah. All right. And this goes right in. Well, come here. Right in that little hole. Hold on. I might have to take the ratchet off. Get up here. I gotta look here real quick at my other video. Oh yeah, goes under the ratchet. It looks like. See, that's the nice thing about having a video that I recorded earlier. I can go and look at the stuff. I gotta sneeze. Ah, there we go. See, even I screw up sometimes. So we'll just take the ratchet wheel back off. There's so many different movements and so many of them that go together in so many different ways. Anyway, you see how that grease kind of spread out now? That's what we want. Alright, now you go into where you belong. Yeah, see, there's a little cutout right there for it. And it interacts with the mainspring, which is good. And now, also a professional, you'll if you go and watch any of the people that I put some links down below of other people that do this kind of work in the description. Marshall's probably one of my favorite. He actually just dropped a new video today. The other guy, I do like watching him. He does a lot of tutorial stuff. They'll both tell you that you should be wearing finger cots when doing this. I can't stand them. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing with I did take some reference photos, but I also have a video from earlier that I can look back at, which helps too. If you guys don't like this kind of stuff, let me know. But I'm just looking and I seen that some of my other videos have been getting quite a few views, so um, I'm still gonna do coin stuff. Don't get all worried about that. We're still gonna do some coin stuff. In fact, I think I have a package of coin stuff coming in on Friday, possibly Saturday. So we'll still be doing coin stuff. But for right now, for me right now anyway, coins are just not making me very much money over on Whatnot where I sell. Now, I might start selling more on Mercari. And the reason being is I just got a notice from them today that they are doing 0% fees on sales. So, I mean, they still have fees on other stuff, but like I think they were charging like 10% or whatever. So now it'll be 0 on that, and then there's just some fees on like money transfer and stuff. So I might start selling a lot more over there. Won't have the auction, obviously, but it might be a little easier for some of you to buy if you don't want to buy on whatnot. Might be a little easier for you to buy over there. Temple Crazed, obviously, is the name over there at Macari. So I'll probably drop a link or put the link for it on my homepage um, later on, so you can find it. All right. Next part. Next part, we have a little bridge here. Just a little bitty bridge. I guess I'd call this like a sub bridge, because it's not really a train wheel bridge. It just goes across right here. Come here. Right up in here. I just need you to. Nope. Right in here. Just want to make sure the wheel underneath still turns. Alright. And then we'll grab a couple screws to hold it in place. I'm glad I got new screwdrivers today. The tips on my other ones were just awful. I'd really love to get a set of Brejon screwdrivers, but like I was showing my dad earlier today, he was over. I was showing him like some of the prices, and the Brejon ones, which are the Swiss-made ones, for screwdrivers, are like, you know, $300 for a set. There's some other ones that I've been looking at that are they're still Chinese made, but they seem to be very popular, and they have like a 5-star rating on Amazon. They're a little over $100, so um, I might think about grabbing a set of those when I have a little bit more money, which definitely isn't right now. Everything's a little tight right now. I'm going to grab out the rest of the train wheels here. That's what we call all these little gears and stuff, is train wheels. So, this one, yep, this one goes right into this little hole right here. Just got to make sure that it's all lined up. Seems to be. Seems to be. Grab the bridge out, the train wheel bridge real quick. And I'm going to grab the screws out for it, just so that I'm ready. The ends of these wheels are called pivots, and these pivots ride, for the most part, they'll ride in gems. Usually rubies. They're actually, yeah, they're usually synthetic rubies. So, all right. So now we're going to grab this next one, this next wheel here, and this would be the one that runs the seconds hand, and it actually goes right down into that little hole right there. Come on, go down in. Do, 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 do. Looks like we're getting some good engagement. Good. And then the last wheel that we have is called the escape wheel. And the escape wheel sits right down underneath here. And I'll pull this back out for a second. It sits right down in here where this jewel is way back here. And yes, it's a pain in the butt to get it in there. That's why I was so glad that my demagnetizer came today, so that I could demagnetize these tweezers to use them. Because even once you get it kind of close, getting it to fall into the actual pivot is sometimes tricky. Because there's a little hole in there that it's got to fit into. I'm going to have to pull the microscope down and get a little closer look. See, when I'm not live streaming this, I have a zoom function on the microscope that I can zoom in more. But for some reason, when it's on the hooked up to the computer, you can't do that. So come on, get in there. Because this pivot here is for our. I think my tweezers became magnetized again. Hold on. Let's try that. That's better. That was pretty funny, though. That was pretty funny. I think this part's magnetized. Come here, you. Let's go demagnetize a part real quick. Nope, still magnetized. Hold on. I have an electronic demagnetizer. There we go. I knew it was demagnetized when well, it was still magnetized, I should say. Just want to look at that jewel back there. All right. Yeah, I went to let go of it and it was still magnetized. I was like, huh, okay, well, that's not going to help me. But now we're demagnetized. If your watch parts are magnetized, it can really screw up your watch. Like how fast it's running and all that. So you definitely want to demagnetize it. You see this on top of this wheel here that looks kind of weird? Yeah, there was a lot of rust in this movement, so I'm hoping that it's gonna work good. Alright, so now we have to put on the main bridge, or the train wheel bridge. I'm gonna lift the microscope back up just a little here so that I can see more of what's going on here. Once we get this on and cinched down, I'll move over to the soft pad again, probably, because shoot, get back there. Alright, so we need to get all these little pivots to line up now. Got those. It's always tough, though, to get the, for me anyway, it's always tough to get the ratchet wheel, or not the ratchet wheel, the escape wheel to line up. I could take this piece off of here, though, and that will help. I'm just going to see if I can get it to go, though. It's definitely not lined up yet. Ooh, might have went in. Yeah, I think it fell in. I mean, this doesn't rock anymore. That's what I usually check for, to see if this bridge rocks back and forth, like significantly, but it's not. And then I'll push down on it pretty significantly and try to move some wheels. And if everything moves all right, then we usually know we're good. So then it's just, I just keep holding pressure. Some people don't use their fingers like this. They'll use like like that little spudger that I use um, when I do buffalo nickels to hold it. I feel I don't have as much control that way. Now you really do. Yeah, it's good that I'm back on YouTube. Now you really do need to be careful, because like last night I was putting one together and I didn't realize that I had one that movement that had a bad escape wheel in it. One of the pivots was really bad, and when I was doing the whole holding down and kind of rocking and everything, it broke the pivot off. So now I have to buy a new escape wheel. Some of the parts cross because all these parts were made in Switzerland. They're all Swiss made. I mean, not all of them, but most of these are. So like a watch manufacturer, what they would do is they would go to the company, the Swiss company, and they'd be like, "Hey, I'm making this watch. I need parts, or I need a mechanism." And they'd just choose from already, mechanisms that are already there. This one, for instance, is the 1187/94. So they'd just say, "Yeah, I want that mechanism," and they might put a different type of like keyless works on it, or this or that. But for the most part, all 1197s or 1187/94s are going to look the same, and it's going to share a lot of parts with a lot of other movements. And I'll show you that in a little bit here. I'll bring that up in a little bit here so you can see what I'm talking about there. But for now, we got that bridge on. So now we have to put the pallet fork in, and we can put the balance on, and then we can actually see if it's going to run, because we don't need any of the stuff on the dial side to make it run. So, okay, pallet fork, check. This is such a tiny piece. Tiny, tiny piece. And very, very delicate. And backwards. Alright. Come here, pallet fork. Oh, still got a little crap on it. I'm going to try to clean some of that off with my tweezers here. Alright. Now this goes into this pivot back here. And then I want it to come out through these two tabs. And it'll sit right out here. And that's where, right here is where it interacts with the balance. So we just kind of push it back in here. And yep, it's in. Now that has its own little bridge called the pallet fork bridge. So we'll get out the pallet fork bridge and the screw that just about went flying. And we'll be able to put in the pallet fork bridge next. Let me just get it flipped over the right direction. See, if I had a better watch cleaning machine, I wouldn't have to worry about any of this gunk still on here, but I don't have a watch cleaning machine at all. So saying that if I had a better one doesn't really make sense. I need a watch cleaning machine. I know I can use my ultrasonic cleaner, and there's no problem with it, because I mean, the professionals, that's what they use, is an ultrasonic cleaner. So there's no problem using an ultrasonic cleaner. Alright, let's see. It's just that I don't know, I don't have the detergents and all that stuff that you really should have. Come on. Just want to make sure everything's moving somewhat freely. I don't think there's any wind in the spring yet. I'm just hoping we can get some wind in the spring, basically, that everything's still locking in and whatnot. So that I can get a little bit of wind in the spring and we can actually see this thing run. Alright. So there's the pallet fork bridge, and the pallet fork is moving really nice. I'm going to see if I can get a little wind in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that screw right there to try to turn in a little bit of wind into this thing. Alright. Oh yeah. See how this, when I barely touch this pallet fork, it jumps? That means we got some wind in it now. Plus you can watch this ratchet, the escape wheel actually turn. See that, how it jumps? I just barely have to move it and boom. That's good. Real good. All right. Well, now the main part that we got to put in to make the thing actually run, is the balance. So let me get the balance out and the screw for the balance out. And I got to sneeze again. Wow, yeah, that was a lot. I thought I was going to have to buy a new balance because this thing was like, it looked like shellac on it, I swear. All right, I'm going to pull it out of this holder now. We got that bridge on there and stuff. Basically, I have to it has to be in that holder because of the center here. But I can, now that it's all bolted in and stuff, as long as I'm careful, it can sit on this soft cushion pad here. All right. So now I need the lower pivot's going to go into here. And the upper pivot has its own like bridge, so for the balance. So just grab it, and it's got this thing called a hairspring, and it's very, very thin, and that's why they call it a hairspring. And it bends very, 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 very easily. Come on. Just got to find that pivot in the bottom. Got to go in more, it looks like. There's actually really nice movement holders that I really do like. I just don't have one. Um, I'm probably gonna be buying one pretty soon though, because I mean, I've been asked to work on some customer watches now, so I figure if I'm gonna be working on customer watches, I should have some of that nicer stuff, right? Come on. I always have issues getting the balances lined up. Cause like this balance, the top pivot goes there. Well, that means the bottom pivots, or the bottom's not in its hole. So sometimes I find it better just to take it out, set it aside, give it a second. I'll show you some of these other um, movement holders. I got some saved here on um, eBay. The Bergeon ones are stupid expensive. Um, let's see. Here we go. Like this one here, you just flip it over and over and over. You got different holders on each side. But you see how these don't come up really high on the edges like the one I have? That's why I want one like this. There's also um, this one here. It's got just the two sides. So I mean, these things are just tiny. That's the thing. So, I mean, we all know the size, especially on this channel, we're going to know the size of a penny. I mean, there you go. There's a penny sitting on top of the movement. That's how small this whole movement is. You know? So you got to have specialty holders and all that stuff. Come on. Come on. This is a shock jewel. That's why it's popping up when I'm trying to put this in, because it's not quite lined up where it needs to be. Still not lined up. Come on. Now this hasn't been oiled yet, so it may not run great right off the bat. But it's trying, so we're doing good now. Now we just gotta get the screw in for that mechanism. Then I'm gonna go through and oil up some stuff. Come on. Okay. Escape wheel's moving, but it's stopping, which is why the watch is not running. So, now, I'm going to bring the scope down again. So, you see that little jewel right there? This little one right here? That's what the escape wheel is running on this side. And on the other side, it's going to be one of these, I think. Or it could be, no, it's this. Nope, that's the pallet fork right there, so I think it's this one. This is the balance. That one really needs a good cleaning. So the way we clean these is we take these out and yeah, sometimes you just gotta keep trying. Take these out and I use a little toothpick on the opposite side to kind of clean them up, and then I'll dip them quick in some 99.9% isopropyl alcohol, and that usually does the trick. These other ones, like this one here, we just drop a little bit of oil in on that one. So these things are tiny. This screwdriver is the smallest one that I have. And so I'm going to have to move this out of the way of the scope so that I can get this little screw out of here, and then I'll bring it back. Alright. So, tiny, tiny screws. Like, super tiny. Now the nice thing is these jewels, I can grab the sides to pull out. And you see how icky that is down in there? You just kind of clean that up with the, there we go. Now this jewel, all I got to do is grab a hold of it, flip it over. That's fine. And you see all that crap that's on right there? That's the stuff we need to get rid of. So I just grab a little toothpick. Actually, what you're supposed to use is pegwood. I don't have any. Pegwood's actually softer than a toothpick, but it's okay. The toothpick works. You see that? See that crap coming off of there, though? And then I have a little thing of isopropyl here that I'm going to just take this and clean it off in. And this is 99.9% ISO, so it's okay to be using. But now we can see through that crystal, or through that thing there. We're just gonna get this dried off now. I just use my little hand blower here. I have that little hand blower there for doing it gets any dust particles out of the crystal and stuff when you're getting ready to put a watch back together. And sneeze time again. And I lost the stupid little screw, so I'll have to grab one off of a different mechanism or a different movement, but that's okay. It happens. Anyway, so we'll go like this. I think I'm going to clean this little well out a little bit here with a little cotton swab. That looks much better. Still remnants of the oil that was used on this mechanism. Just horrible. Alright, I gotta find a screw, so talk among yourselves while I find a small screw. I have many other mechanisms I can pull stuff out of. And that screw will probably show up. It'll probably turn up here at some point. Oh, come on. Oops, that's not the mechanism I'm supposed to take stuff out of. Where is the bad mechanism? I know I have one here that's just for parts. Well, somewhere I have one that's just for parts. See, these parts can jump away from you really quick. But I have mechanisms all over the place. What's in here? That's hands. Hans! Oh! Let's see if I can see it real quick. Going up. Just looking underneath the scope real quick. Let's see it. Alright, back to the search. Back to the search. Look at that, you watched me screw up and lose something during this one. That's perfect. Alright, I just need to find a mechanism that I can tear apart. This is the one that needs an escape wheel. I don't really want to do that one. There we go. This is the one that has a new movement coming for it. Because the movement that I got for it is crap. This is a beautiful watch, though. I'll show you the dial on this other watch that I'm working on. What a beautiful little dial. But the mechanism I bought for it, which is a supposed to be a new old stock mechanism, does not work. So I got a hold of the guy, and I told him, I said, dude, this mechanism doesn't work. And he's like, all right, cool, I'll send you a new one. I'm like, but that was a new one. So now I just got to look here and find a screw that I can take. Hopefully. Okay, well, no screws there. That's not so nice. Alright, back to the drawing board, find another one. Yeah, they are. And my dad was over earlier, and he was looking at some of that stuff, and he's just like, I don't know how you do that. He's like, I can't even see the one screwdriver. He's like, I can't even see that tip. I was like, yeah, I have a microscope. That's how I do that. Without the microscope, it would not be I would not be able to do it. That's plain and simple. Let me see here. I know I have more movements laying around, so I should be able to find some parts. Oh, gosh. Let's see. Can't take it out of that. Not going to take it out of that. It's not in there. Nope. Ooh. Maybe. Maybe I could take it out of that. Not going to take it out of that. Oh, wait. Here we go. That movement's for parts. Yay, more parts. That's the one nice thing, is when you get some stuff that just can't be fixed for one reason or another. This one here is a black shield, which is actually kind of a rare mechanism, or a rare watch, but the mechanism's junk. So I might replace the mechanism with a different one. Come on. Just taking out the, or loosening up the dial screws here. Yeah, that's got a screw. Yeah, this is a black shield. But let's move you to the side. Let's bring you in. And right there we have a screw. Yeah, see this mechanism? All rusted and stuff. Let me get this little screw out. Let's try not to lose this one, since I don't have a whole lot more mechanisms that I can pull screws out of. Alright, now we're working on this here. So what we want to do is we're going to take the little top cap jewel here. I want to keep an eye on, I'm trying to keep an eye on that damn screw. And we're going to take my smallest oiler. I'm going to just barely dip it in the oil. Put a little bit of oil right there. And what this oil will do, it will suspend a little drop of oil right above that pivot as soon as I get this thing flipped over correctly via capillary action. Kind of making a mess of it though, but it'll be fine. See how much nicer that already looks? Then we'll get this screw that we scavenged. that I scavenged from another movement. And I'm going to move it away here for a sec so I could put the screw in. And we'll move on to the next one. Actually, I'm not going to move on to the next one. I think I'm going to call it here. It's been over an hour. So basically, I got to do that the same to each of those. But we've already seen that the watch will run. I just need to get it oiled up. So, actually, I think I'll come back with a part 3. Yeah. I think I'll come back with a part 3 after I get the oiling done on all of these, because it's nicer that when my microscope's not connected to the computer, I can have the microscope higher and I can zoom in with digitally, which makes it easier for me to see. So I'll do all the oiling and stuff, and I'll come back probably with a video that I'll just record and put up, part 3 of it being finished and running. So, hope you enjoyed. I hope to do some more videos like this. I enjoy it, so if you don't, well, sorry. But I do enjoy these videos, or I enjoy doing this work. So yeah, have a good one, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.